biggest night is in the books. Now it's time for Broadway's biggest after party. I'm Tamsen Fadal. Welcome to New York City's iconic Carlyle Hotel. It's exclusive VIP access like you won't see anywhere else. The Carlyle is a place where Broadway's biggest and brightest come to party all night long right after the Tony Awards. First, let's get this party started with a red carpet rewind. Heading into Tony Night, 3 musicals earned the most nominations with 10 apiece. Let's go ahead and look at the night's winners.
Pick up my suitcase, it's got a decade of heft.
Go make it count now, enjoy the time you have left.
So let's talk about Broadway's biggest prize. The winner of Best New Musical went to Maybe Happy Ending.
This means a great deal to me. This one's personal. I think there's a real focused commitment and dedication to this kind of work, and it's effective, and it's affecting people in a positive way, and it's catching on all by itself. This is all the humans have decided, not the robots.
This time I'm staying for good.
The revival of Sunset Boulevard, starring Nicole Scherzinger, won the trophy for Best Revival of a Musical.
That was a dream come true for me to perform As If We Never Said Goodbye on that stage in front of that audience. And then to win a Tony, are you kidding me? It still hasn't sunk in.
Also an incredibly competitive race in the category of Best New Play. That win went to Purpose.
I love this company so deeply. I'm proud to be with them and watch them every night and be stunned by them every single night.
The only thing that beats success is success with your friends. And every one of these actors in this company is a very good friend of mine, if not a dear friend. And Phylicia Rashad, having directed this, she knew the Steppenwolf ethos, she knew our philosophy because she worked with us in Chicago before, and she had done August Osage County here in New York. So for her to take the bull by the horns and help Brandon to steer this ship and shepherd this play, this production, I'm forever grateful to her.
And in the category of Best Revival of a Play, Eureka Day picked up the win on Tony Night. Wontorek, back from Radio City, and what an incredible night. You could feel that energy, I feel like, in every moment.
It was a real celebratory night for Broadway. This has been an amazing season. Broadway, everyone says Broadway is really back.
Yeah.
Box office is back, and incredible shows, and Cynthia Erivo was such a fantastic host.
All right, let's talk about the big winner of the night, Maybe Happy Ending.
I adore this show so much, Tamsen. Like, I could cry just thinking about it. It is the sweetest show. It was the little show that could.
Well, that's what I think. That's what I think. People were like, I'm not sure.
It literally premiered in Seoul, Korea,
right, like
9 or 10 years ago, and no one ever thought it would get to Broadway, honestly. Darren Criss got behind it and produced it and, starred in it, and it won 6. It won 6 Tonys tonight. It just sort of walked away with all the major musical categories, including Darren Criss winning for lead actor.
Okay, let's talk about this because, we had a First Timers Club and we had some winners. We had some real, two big winners tonight.
Yeah, the 2 big musical winners. We had Nicole Scherzinger and Darren Criss. I mean, Nicole Scherzinger, that was a hotly contested race for lead actress.
It was, right? I really didn't know. I watched both the performances tonight, Audra and Nicole, and I went, they just both took the house down. Right?
Usually you're lucky if you get one of those real 11 o'clock number moments on the Tonys. We had 2. And it was really like, and they both numbers, they just kind of did the number fantastically and then just sort of like walked off the stage. And it was kind of like, you guys figure it out. That's how it felt.
Right, you're right. But what an exciting night and what an exciting end to the night. And I'd be remiss if I did not mention the Hamilton number with the original cast, which I don't know. It was just, it was sexy. It was like, you know, I don't know. It made you just remember. It was everything.
Yes.
And then Lynn at the end, all teared up. It was just really, just an amazing moment. I mean, Broadway's back.
Broadway's
no
back.
question.
Yeah, my favorite thing about the Hamilton number was Ariana DeBose, who has hosted the Tonys the last 3 years. You know, she was in the ensemble, and she played the bullet, and they really highlighted it on camera. They like showed her with the bullet. That was so great. It was just like that whole cast is incredible, and seeing them all together. I mean, the ensemble was original too, and it's 10 years now. This is the 10th anniversary for Hamilton.
It's hard to believe. More to come. What was it like to be back? Because I know that that's what you referenced when you first came up to the stage.
Yeah. I mean, it feels, you know, in this way, in this show, portraying this person, this is the best way. It's the absolute best way to come back.
You got a little emotional at the end there.
Yeah. The last time I was there was Avenue Q. It was literally 20 years ago. It was the 58th Tony Awards. And that was a shock that when we were shocked, we were the little show, you know, that could. And in a lot of ways, this one felt the same. I like to do things that are different. Most of my resume is original pieces. I enjoy that process and making it work and putting all the puzzle pieces together. And so there are a lot of similarities. And we turned out pretty well tonight. We did pretty well.
When you hear your name, I'm always curious. What does that feel like when it processes you hear your name?
Yeah. So, you know, I can't speak for the rest of them, but I'm going to bet that you're always hoping it's you, and you might even think it's you. So when I heard my name, it was a major sense of relief. You know, oh my God, it was such a relief. It really was, yeah. I worked really hard for this, I did.
Cole Escola, Tony Award winner.
Wow.
You've been hearing since Oh Mary started, this maybe moment could happen, right?
You know, really weird, crazy people said that to me. So I didn't know, yeah, like you. Frankly, sorry, no offense.
You must feel extremely embraced by Broadway. I mean, this
do.
whole year has really been, you know, the show obviously was a big hit off Broadway, came to Broadway, and everyone was like, how's this gonna work on Broadway? And it just gangbusters.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole cast. You know, Conrad Ricamora and James Scully and Bianca Lee and Tony Mox, like, we're just a little unit. We just moved that a little further uptown. It doesn't feel any different, you know, except we do have our own dressing rooms now.
Think about when this job first started, like the origins of it.
Yeah.
Like describe that moment up till now.
Oh, I mean, I was thrilled to do it, but when it first started, I was like, oh, this is like a fun, weird thing that I'm gonna do with my like gay friends in between like prestige theater gigs.
Right.
Like it was like I'm gonna do a lot of big shows, but then in between I'm gonna do this fun show with my friends.
Yeah.
And here we are.
That's actually really wonderful. What a wonderful message, right? So what's the lesson of that?
It's just like make the things that you love with the people that you love. Like if you have a good feeling about something, listen to that. And that doesn't have to mean that it's like a big job or a lot of money. Like it's just like, oh, if this project feels right, it's probably right for a reason. Because I loved this play from the first time I read it, and I knew I wanted to do it, and I had such a clear sense of it, but this was not the goal at all. It's sincere, like I really believe in it, and I love doing it. I love doing it.
So what do you want your career to look like?
This is the end. This is it. How could I top this? Can they at home know that it's 4:06 a.m.? Can we tell them that?
So do you feel like you're a real like Broadway star at this point?
You're only as good as your next job. So no, I have nothing lined up, so I'm old news.
How are you feeling?
I am overwhelmed and having the absolute best time of my life whilst also being completely exhausted, which I think actually encapsulates my entire Broadway experience. I'm humbled by it, I know that's kind of cliche, but I think there's a tendency you give someone an award and they go, yeah, I'm the best, but I'm like, Wow, little. I'm only so little though, and you gave me this.
It just has to feel so well deserved, though.
Thank you so
So
much.
well deserved.
Thank you.
Tell me, what are your thoughts about the show, and why did you say yes? And just talk a little bit about that.
I didn't say yes. I said please.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I came in as a big fan of the writers.
Yeah.
I loved their work. They wrote these horror comedy plays that I just loved, and I was desperate to work with them, and I lobbied them. You got to let me be in one of your shows. So then when they announced they were writing a musical, I was like, great, that's what I do, and I do it well, and you better let me be in it. And they let me audition. They're on record as being like, fine, we'll let him. We'll give him he can come in, it'll be a day out. And I was in the show ever since. And I'm biased, but it's my favorite musical of all time. I think it is exceptional. I'm so honored to be a part of it and to have that in my legacy and have me wrapped up in the legacy of the show. I'm so delighted that I liked the right people.
Okay, let's start with the big news. Maybe happy ending. The little show that could. But look at that, 6 Tony Awards.
Yep.
It's the top show of the year. You, of course, both knew this could happen. You know this is a brilliant show from Jump. But like, how does it feel to be at this point? Does it feel like some finality now to the journey? The journey keeps going.
I mean, it feels like a real beginning in a way.
I think
it's
so
like,
too.
Oh, it can enter the world and the zeitgeist, and people can say, oh, this is a show. I have to see that show. And then they can come and they can have the experience that we've always known and hoped that people could have. But it feels like now it is actually going to have a place in the market.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Do you feel people's hearts being broken open in the way that I do when I'm in the audience? And what is it like to be behind something like that?
I think so. It's very strange, actually. I mean, it's interesting to watch an audience evolve from like curiosity or skepticism maybe at the very beginning towards like great generosity and excitement and a willingness to expose themselves and open themselves to something that's pretty unique and different and can kind of shift the paradigm, and that's like thrilling for us to witness, I think.
And it's really exciting that people are coming back, bringing people they love. I think theater is a shared experience, but when you make an active decision to share it with someone in particular that you know or love, it's really beautiful. And to watch audiences from the side of the house or the back of the house, when I see the show, you see them, grab each other's hands, and it's beautiful. It's like why we tell stories.
Rarely audiences expect what the show gives them. They come in thinking a variety of things, and I think what comes out is immensely universal and moving and powerful. And it's rare that we get to make work like that, and it's exciting.
You two have been friends since you were kids, and literally making theater together. What is it like to have a night like this at the Tonys together? I mean, is it ever are you so used to it now, or sometimes you just look at each other and think like,
no, you can't
us.
get used to this.
We keep looking at each other like, who let us in?
Yeah, totally.
It's cool. I mean, in our dorm room in high school, we had 2 I believe they're called captain's beds.
Captain's bed.
Where
with the drawers underneath.
And, we'd stay up till the wee hours, talking about ideas of shows, and our alarm clock was Audra McDonald's Way Back to Paradise.
It was a
album.
CD changer.
It was a 3 CD changer.
So first you'd hear the CD go into the changer, and then you'd hear Audra.
Yeah, singing Ricky Ian Gordon.
Yep.
And so to be here and that Audra is singing on a telecast that we are standing on the same stage is I'm not over it, and I hope I never am.
No, I agree.
Because then it's if you lose the wonder, I think you've lost the plot.
The party's just getting started here at the Carlyle. More Tony Awards coverage after the break.
By the time this ad is over, you could have already booked your ticket to Oz, Chicago, Hell's Kitchen, or the room where it happens. For 25 years, Broadway.com has been the most trusted name in theater tickets. With lightning fast checkout, legendary customer service, award-winning content. Because Broadway isn't the add-on to your trip to New York. It's the reason for it. Broadway.com, your ticket to Broadway for 25 years.
Welcome back to Broadway's biggest after party. I'm Tamsen Fadal. Let's talk about red carpet fashion with Charlie Cooper.
All right, George, we're back for another year on
Here we
Broadway's
are.
biggest night.
Don't you love it?
I absolutely love it. And I was loving the looks on the red carpet this evening. I mean, the themes. Let's talk about the golds and the nudes.
The golds and the nudes and the sparkle.
With that whole theme, Cynthia Erivo, who led the night.
I mean, come on, the fashion girl of the world, right?
Yeah.
She looks so beautiful. Schiaparelli on the red carpet. I mean,
Incredible.
and that was from the Spring and Summer Couture show.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. But then she's wearing all different designers throughout the show. I mean, really changing it up, you know, and showing color and sequence and then going into like something flowy. And the way she started the show in that red column, you know, with the little white collar, and just so sexy and beautiful. And that face.
Yes.
Oh, how about Nicole?
Oh my God, in that red.
That red, honey, there's always a red power dress on the carpet every time. We don't know how many, we don't know who's gonna do it, but she did it in the red sequin, and that was from a Lebanese designer.
Really?
Yeah, his name is Nicholas Gibran, and let me tell you, honey, 55 carats worth of diamonds.
Oh my God.
You
She
know?
makes it look effortless,
Well,
though.
yeah,
That's the thing
there
about
must have
her.
been an army of security behind her, like hidden in the bushes, because there's no joke, 55 carats of diamonds. I mean, hello, but she rocked it out. What about Jasmine?
Oh my God, that like green, rich, royal look, and then like underneath, what was that underneath?
It was like a beaded column
God.
skirt, and green is the big color for the summer season, all different shades of green, and so she was on it. And it was this Duchess silk with all this pleating, and then the wide skirt, and then the column underneath. So beautiful. Essay Azenbour. So pretty. That's the designer. I'm telling you, I'm coming up with these names, you know?
Seriously.
And we also saw a lot of florals,
Yes.
power colors, red, bright green, gorgeous. You have to remember, like, the Tony Awards, it's a summer night. So different from the award season, right, that starts in January and goes until the Oscars in February, March. This is a summer night, so it's like, almost like going to a summer wedding. Vicki Clark.
Yeah.
This bright floral dress, sexy, backless, so gorgeous.
Do you know who dressed her?
I think it's this guy named George Brescia. I don't know. I mean, it could be. Yes, it was me. I mean, the fedora jewels, the hair, the makeup, she looks absolutely stunning. And it's something that we have not seen her in before. And I think that's something that you see at the Tonys. People want to evolve, wear things that they haven't worn before, you know, and really show their sense of style and their creativity.
Were there any menswear looks that you just absolutely loved?
Darren Criss.
Yes.
I really like the way he looked. You know, it was so modern. It was this black and silver tuxedo. He didn't wear a shirt underneath it. The pant had a little flare to it, which was really, really sexy. And the jacket was super fitted. And then he changed when he went and sat down into that metallic double-breasted, and then he did the bow tie. So again, you see how these people are expressing themselves, right? It's so fun.
It
It's
was just confidence, honestly.
It does, don't you think?
Yeah. What about the couples? What about Amal and George Clooney?
Oh, you are like speaking my, are you in my head?
I am.
Yes.
I am. That's why we do this.
We do this so well together, don't we? I mean, the power couple.
Seriously.
Is there ever been a more beautiful creature than the creatures than the two of them together?
Yeah, that white gown, the pearls.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Just dripping in pearls.
It's a
What's around like that?
It's a little rude.
It's so rude.
How dare you? How dare you, Amal? How dare you, George Clooney?
Have you ever experienced a fashion emergency during awards night at all? And how do you deal with something like that?
Honey, yes. Are you ready? I'm gonna try to tell the story so quick. So I was dressing a certain someone, Tony nominee, in the dressing room from a very big fancy show, zipping up the dress, one of those hidden zippers, and George does not like zippers. We all know this about him because he gets nervous. So I break out into a flop sweat because I can't get the zipper up. She looks over her shoulder, looks down at me, she goes, "How you doing down there?" I said, "Not so good. Are we having a problem with the zipper?" "Yeah, we are." She goes, "No big deal." She gets on the phone, calls wardrobe, "Get up here, we have a situation." Wardrobe comes up, it's like scissors in one hand, needle and thread in the other. They took that zipper, they sewed her into the dress. We carried her down the stairs and laid her into the limousine and took her to the Tony Awards, and scene.
I love
How do you like that?
The dramatics. It's almost like so
Not that I
perfect
understand
today.
dramatics. Do I know about dramatics? I don't know.
To be able to do it and do it well, and to be rewarded for attempting to do it well, I think is really special. Yeah.
What has this journey been like coming to Broadway with this show? I mean, it was already a hit.
Yeah.
Right? It came to New York already a hit elsewhere. Does it feel like it's actually just blown into something even larger? Or?
It really does. It's funny though with a show kind of in those three continents that you don't quite know what will work and what won't work. The audiences are really different. Broadway audiences are so generous and vocal and kind of want to express
if they like something, and it's a really different experience for us actually. That feels like people are really wanting to have conversations about the work, and it feels huge here. Yeah, it's massive for us. We're so proud of the show. It's so amazing for a show from Australia that was made in Australia to kind of make it to Broadway. It's like the dream.
Yeah, what's it been like working with Sarah? You know, it's because it's not a traditional one-woman show in the sense that there's a whole crew on stage, right? And we're seeing so much happen, and there's video work, and
Yeah.
it feels like you almost maybe were more of a collaborator with her, right? It just feels like the whole thing.
With everyone on the creative team as well, I think it was so all of our pre-recorded footage takes every single person to kind of emulate what it's going to look like on stage, because a lot of our footage is trying to, is sitting alongside live video. So every kind of shot takes every person to make it work. Costuming Sarah, it's a gift, really. I love performers. I love actors so much. I love designing for specific actors. So it's a dream job for me.
What was it like sitting in Radio City Music Hall? It's
I've never
enormous.
been. It's enormous, but also I feel like I've only ever seen footage of the Rockettes or something at the Radio City, and it feels like huge, and it's kind of take your breath away exciting. When we went in, we were going,
I mean, was it like going on stage?
Crazy.
And doing the moment? You did it beautifully.
Thank you. I can't quite remember any of the things. I was so overwhelmed, and I'm really grateful. I'm very humbled to be in this community, which is strikingly unique. We are a smaller industry in Australia, and to have so much work in close proximity to one another and people kind of interacting with each other, it's unbelievable. It's such a privilege to be here.
The Tony Awards is a celebration like no other. So how does Broadway's biggest night actually get made? Here's Perry Sook with a look.
Radio City Music Hall, home to the Tony Awards for the first time since 2022. I got a behind-the-scenes look at just what goes into putting on Broadway's biggest night. All right, we are here inside Radio City Music Hall with two of the executive producers of the 78th Tony Awards, Glenn and Ricky. Guys, thank you so much for the time. You guys are busy and active in that room. What goes into your day?
We're busy and active not just in that room, but before that room. And basically from when the nominations come out, which is almost a month between, that's not a lot of time. We're pretty much on a sprint because some shows have 6, 8, 10 weeks. We're all about the performances, but we don't know who our performances are until the nominations come out. So even the cast in the show need to, in a way, relearn it for our purposes. So it's a very, very quick period of time to turn around, make the performances look on TV as best as they possibly can, and not just that, but bring in the right presenters, bring in the right people. There's a lot going on in that time.
So how hard is it to adapt something from one stage to another stage and then also be playing to both the audience here at Radio City Music Hall and, the national worldwide audience on the television?
Honestly, what we try to do is take something that plays really well in a theater and adapt it to television so that the people at home really have an experience beyond just seeing it. We're not just capturing it. We're not just sitting in the back of the house capturing it. We're putting cameras on stage. We're working with the actors to make it all play really well for TV. And at the end of the day, hopefully the show's great, but the clips go viral and people really get to see what's out there on Broadway, which is really our purpose, is to show it in as best light as we possibly can.
I mean, for a lot of people, this is some of the only Broadway they get to see all year long. How do you choose? There's so many great shows, so many great numbers from this. We just saw one from Maybe Happy Ending. How did you pick that number? How do you choose what goes into the show?
Well, the hard part about a show like Maybe Happy Ending is out of context, it doesn't sometimes tell the story. It's actually why we use some B-roll footage underneath the intro to show you that it's more than just that number. So each show is different. Some, it's easy to just pull a number out, and some, it's like, what's the context, having not seen the show.
Obviously, Cynthia Erivo hosting this year. How much interaction is there when you're making these transitions and things working with Cynthia?
We've been in touch with Cynthia probably for the last 3 months or so. It's been quite a process, and honestly, putting a show together like this is the A part, where you don't know the nominations, you don't know the show, and the B part, where you do know the nominations, and it really turns into a fantastic collaboration with probably 100 people at the end of the day. Cynthia comes in, and we know Cynthia has this beautiful voice. Cynthia is not Ari, and she's not Neil Patrick Harris, and she's not James Corden. We're not trying to make her that. We're trying to take advantage of her strong suit and put her out there. People at home love her. The movie has been a great thing for her, and there's so much social following for her. So we really want to harness that energy and give people what they want. And that voice, well, her vocal range is sick. And we took advantage of that and really tried to build a show that was centered around that.
I think I want people to see my humor for sure, but I'll bring something different. You know, I think even just me being sort of very English and a little bit punk with my tattoos and my bald head is going to be something added extra. You know, it's just different. The fashion is something that I love very much. So I think I'm going to try and bring a little bit of that. And there are different parts of. I just don't want to give anything away, but there are things that I've sort of thought of specifically for this Tonys that I really wanted to input in that I think will be different to the last Tonys that we've seen.
What are the difficulties, you know, as these shows are running 8 shows a week, trying to get them in here to rehearse their numbers, trying to get them to interact with your host and MC? How does that happen?
Well, the rehearsal schedule is a huge jigsaw puzzle because you also on Wednesdays you have matinees. A lot of curtains now, even Thursdays and Fridays, are 7 o'clock, which means the actors have to leave here to get hair, makeup, whatever. And then Sunday morning, they come to us, they do a dress rehearsal at 9 a.m. They go back to their theater, do a matinee. Then they get ready for the red carpet in their glam outfit. Then they get changed into their wardrobe for their show. Then they go sit in the audience if they're a nominee. So it's a very long day, and that's, you know, that's if they don't go to the parties.
What makes to you guys the Tony Awards the most different from anything else?
Well, working with the creators on Broadway is the biggest difference. You know, we do music shows and acts come in and they haven't really sometimes even rehearsed that number before they show up. Whereas this, they've been doing it 8 times a week. They were tech, they were this. They're very precise. Dancers are very precise. Choreographers are very precise. So that is a big difference. And then they work with Glenn on camera choreography to make it all work for television.
But what really differentiates the Tony Awards for me, and I've done a lot of major award shows, what really differentiates this is one word, and that is community. This is a community of people who work together, live together. You're in this theater, and 6 months later you're in that theater, and you're all interacting together. I feel like you really feel that sense of community in the room, and that is palpable on television. And that's like an important thing that distinguishes the Tony Awards for me from all the other industry award shows.
What was it like going through this awards season and now getting to the end? Was it stressful? You've had such a long, beautiful career.
I have had a long, beautiful career.
Yeah.
I have been so lucky. But I never thought anything like this was going to happen. Our show closed right before Thanksgiving. It's roundabout, it's nonprofit theater. You know, it was a play revival. So I truly wasn't expecting anything. And so when it happened, I was really kind of flabbergasted. I'm flying high from adrenaline right now, but I'm also like feeling really grounded by the responsibility of being able to represent, you know, a community and on occasion get to speak on behalf. So this means a lot because it's not since 1989 that an Asian person has won for being in a play, and they just so happen to both be placed by David Henry Hwang.
Yeah. What's the story about the suit?
Oh my God. 20 years ago, I finally met Alvin Ng, who I had idolized since I got my original recording of Pacific Overtures back in 1976. When we closed the show, he gave me this tux, and he explained to me that he had had it made for him when he was opening Pacific Overtures in 1976. And he wanted me to have it, and he told me that he wanted me to wear it when I accepted my Tony Award. You know, I'm so sorry to all the stylists who approached my agents, but I was like, I know what I'm gonna wear.
I had this figured out for
I have this figured out.
It's one thing to say I enjoyed your show. It's another thing to say your show or you changed my life. I signed my autograph. Be brave, be you, which is from my children's book, Sissy Duckling. And that's what I always say. Be brave, be you. And there's a line in Kinky Boots, which is be yourself. Everyone else is already taken.
The thing I just realized is when you win a special Tony, it's already engraved. Because all these other people are walking around with blank
That's
Tony.
right. And you're like, in 2 months, I'm gonna get my actual Tony.
Right.
And I get to like bring that home and yeah.
And introduce it to the other one.
That's right.
Yes, I'm just going to put it there.
Great.
You're Isabel Stevenson winner for your great work in the world. You are obviously continuing on with acting. You will probably be back at the Tonys as a nominated actress in the future.
Cool, right?
Yeah, sure. We
Yeah.
got plenty of
Great.
things ahead of us.
Yeah.
This is just sort of an interesting detour.
I mean, and something that I don't think I ever imagined I would get an award for. Like, that feels crazy. I feel like getting an award for a performance, I have always been like, yeah, great. I would be happy to receive that award. And this one has felt so much squishier, not in an easy way.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what that's about, but it feels harder than the performance, or it's harder to be like, how lucky, how great for me.
We also walked into tonight, I think, knowing Gavin would be in the air, right? The in memoriam segment, and literally ended with Gavin's image and Cynthia Erivo hugging Sarah. I mean, it was beautiful. It was actually really beautifully handled.
God, I was so aware of just how amazing the evening was, and also just like a missing person. I think in the in memoriam especially, I was like, all of these great artists, like we did lose a lot of very significant artists this year, and I was like, but not all of them were like 48 years old.
Yeah.
And so I think there's just always going to be that part that's like, what else would we have gotten to see?
Yeah.
And so,
That's going to do it for us in the 2025 Tony Awards. Until next time, from the Carlyle Hotel, I'm Tamsen Fadal.